Hey guys, as always, thanks for stopping by. An armed militia leader that knows nothing about arms. Yep, let's talk about that. Today's episode is brought to you by DLDVIP.com. It's a great way to win free stuff. They offer webinars with a limited number of seats. You buy a ticket, and at the end of the webinar, one person wins the item, and everybody else has their ticket price applied to the cost of the item in DLD's store, so everybody wins. So head over to DLDVIP.com for your chance to win some rad stuff, and be sure to head straight to the webinar section. That's where the action takes place. Big thank you to DLDVIP.com, brand new channel sponsor. All right, let's talk about this whole thing that has gone on over the last couple days. It is a mess. I want to talk to you about it, and I do want to hear your opinions. You can always leave a comment right down below. A big thank you to all of y'all for every thumbs up. Y'all know I say that all the time, but it is truly a big help. Everybody that hits that thumbs up, thanks. All right, so we've got the NFAC, the Not Bleeping Around Coalition, and they've received some national attention. I think that's part of the story here, is it's not just some random backwoods militia. They've actually got a little bit of mojo right now. The NFAC is a black militia, and I talked about them a little bit before. I did say at one point that I do support them. The Second Amendment is for everybody. I don't play identity politics. I don't do the identity game. In fact, whenever y'all go straight to identity stuff down below, I always hit back with that. I don't really care about that kind of stuff. I care about freedom and the Constitution. The Second Amendment is for everybody. Now, a few weeks ago in one of the rallies, they did have some of their members that stopped traffic. Not a fan. And they also were demanding and banging on cars of people and demanding reparations. Also, not a fan. But the overall idea of an armed populace, I think, is very constitutional and very American. Now, over the past couple days, this has now hit the national news. Over the weekend, the NFAC was having a rally. They were at a staging area in a park. It wasn't during the rally. It was in the staging area in Louisville, and there was a negligent discharge. And ooh, that's not good. That is really, really bad. There's different types of discharges. This one is not a good one. And several people were injured, and there's a little bit of grainy footage of the overall incident, and it's almost not even good enough worth showing. I'll put a still right here. It's really grainy, but you can see it. My understanding is the projectile hit concrete. The concrete shrapnel or the projectile shrapnel injured some folks, and they had to be taken to the hospital. Nobody lost their lives, thankfully. Now, the leader of the NFAC, Grand Master Jay, he took to social media to talk about this and let out some commentary. A big thank you to Mike over at Mr. Guns and Gear, or he is Mr. Guns and Gear. He brought this to our attention yesterday, and people are now talking about it. I want to talk to y'all about it as well. Let me show you a little bit. Now, this is just an excerpt. This is just a little bit. One, I'm not going to show the whole thing because it's 3 or 4 minutes. Partly because it's very low quality, but then also it's profanity laced. So I'm going to show you a little bit of excerpt. Here we go.
Who were not shot. They didn't get hit with a bullet. Nobody pulled the trigger on them. There were no fingers on the trigger. And anyone who sits up on here and talks about, well, they should have had the safety on. Obviously, you ain't never had an old shotgun. This is an XR-15 shorty. We call it a bullpup. The interesting thing about this weapon is if I pull back the bolt, see that? See the bolt? There's no bullet in there. Pay very close attention. If I'm not paying attention and I take this weapon and I bang it, look what just happened. The bolt goes forward. The weapon has fired. I didn't touch the trigger. I just simply banged it on the table. If you sit down and you bang this on the ground, you will blow your head off. It happens in basic training every day. Unless you understand weapons for real, don't you listen to these motherfuckers who have no intention of ever picking up one and who don't understand that weapons go off by themselves all the time.
Yeah, I think you can immediately see this is not good. Now, I know people that are in this group, we love to make fun of people that don't understand our verbiage. We love talking about news reporters and politicians that will call a magazine a clip or a clip a magazine, and they get it wrong, and we love to talk about it and make memes. And that's part of an in-group, out-group scenario. People that are in a group love talking about people's lack of knowledge about our little inside stuff. That's not what this is, and not what this is remotely. This is, again, as I opened with, the leader of an armed militia talking complete and utter nonsense. My favorite of all of that is he calls that rifle an XR-15. I don't even know what that is, but I want one. It calls it his XR-15 Shorty in a bullpup configuration. No, that's not what that is. And I think a lot of the guys that are chasing this on social media today are going at it from the angle that it's exciting to correct somebody. That may be part of it, and it's a meme within itself. I mean, this guy is worse than Voda. He is the new Voda, by far some of the worst commentary that I've ever seen in the 2A community. I mean, this is bad. This is like not just misinformation. It's so wrong. It's like a Saturday Night Live skit. But this is not just an in-group, out-group thing. This is, again, the leader of a militia who has no idea what he's talking about. Like, literally no utter idea what he's talking about. And it really does concern me. I find it super unfortunate because, again, these folks have mojo right now. Like, they have national attention, national media, the opportunity, the platform, the place right now for them to exact some change in our society. Why doesn't he talk about repealing the NFA? That'd be a great start for freedom. How about talking? There's a lot of different areas they could talk about. Instead, he's having to defend a negligent discharge. Yeah, this is utter, complete nonsense. And I find that super unfortunate. I also find it difficult, and this is the reason I press record on the video today, is that we are being lumped in with them. And don't make this about an identity issue. I'm not saying that at all. We're talking about just people exercising their constitutional rights. And there's already being calls, and they're using those folks in that negligent discharge as an example of how we need to stop these types of rallies and stop these types of peaceful assemblies. And that's the point of the video today, is that people, politicians, lawmakers, city councils, mayors, folks that make decisions are going to use this as an example on how we all should be treated, and that I find unacceptable. Now, what would you do if you remember the NFAC? Mr. Gunzinger called and said, at least he said, that part of the discussion should be about removing or having a change of leadership. I think absolutely that there's no reason for their leader to be somebody that has no idea what he's talking about. And I think that is a challenge for folks that are in that group. And again, I think it's just difficult for me in any way, on any level, to be lumped in with those folks. On another level, it's kind of funny that he's calling that rifle a bullpup. That makes me kind of happy on some level. There's been a lot of memes going around over the last couple days. I'll be talking about more memes tomorrow, including some on this one, on Spicy Friday. It's coming. Now, let me ask you, what do you think about all of this? Where are you at in this entire situation? I think it matters. I think we need to pay attention because there are people that are trying to take our freedoms away based on the actions of idiots. And to anybody that's trying to take our freedoms away that doesn't approve or like or want us to have our way of life, the fabric of our society, including the constitutional rights that we all celebrate and love, to any of those idiots, from my cold, dead hands. Bye.